We're back with the talk that you don't want to miss. Posted podcast is back in the mix. Voices of the Bears, we're leading the news. Season 4 live, we got stories and views. From the halls to the mic, we bringing up the heat. BNN is knocking with a brand new beat. Bears News Network, let the whole school know. Posted podcast is back, let's go, let's go!
Hello and welcome back to the Posted Podcast. My name is Alessa and I'm here with my good friend Addison. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Such a special day to be here. We welcome again the heart of PSJA Bears Theater Department, Ms. Benavidez. We do want to apologize. This is our second take. I know last time we had technical difficulties, but we're still learning from them. And how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, y'all. It's Friday. A lot of good energies, good vibe. It is a beautiful day. The sun is shining. So thank you so much, ladies, for having me here.
We also have something very special for you.
Ooh, okay. Oh. Thank you so much, y'all. I appreciate it, you guys.
I appreciate you supporting our program.
Yes, Theater Folk Love Flowers. Thank you.
In a way, we're so grateful to have you back on. And I feel like this is another opportunity to hit a little deeper and ask you some better questions and find out a little more about you. So today we're going to pick your brain. So our first question, so just to give a little background on Mrs. Benavidez, on who she is. She is a product of PSJA. She went to PSJA elementaries, middle schools, and high schools. There she was senior class president and homecoming queen. And she did go to state 4 times with the Texas Forensics Association. And she came back to be a theater director. She went to PSJA High, Southwest, and Kennedy. At Kennedy, she did win Teacher of the Year.
Yay!
Congratulations. And now she is here as the head drama director and head UIL director, and she has gotten 2 regional back-to-back performances. This is Mrs. Benavidez.
How y'all doing? Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
So we mentioned that you grew up and you went to elementary, middle school, and high school in PSJA. How does it feel being a educator rather than a student now in PSJA?
There's always of course a big line in between those, but I still feel my kid-like energy, you know what I mean, my student energy to want to just be able to really connect with everyone here and just make some memorable moments. The spirit of PSJA lives on forever, y'all. I told you all was embedded into my bloodstream, that my blood type is GBG, it's Go Bears Go the whole way. So we just make sure that being a student was very memorable for me, and that's kind of the whole reason why I enjoy coming back as an educator.
You grew up being a bear, right? We're filled with that bear spirit. So now that you're an adult, what does being a PSJA mean to you personally?
It has so much more impact in my life. There's so much more responsibility to it. There's so much more character and integrity that I live by because of the roles of, what I was given as a student. So I'm just very proud to be back here and just to make sure that we are impacting the lives of our students around us so that they can come back and have that same feeling to want to give back to their community.
I really do love that because I feel every time I go to a class or I see an educator here, they were once a product of PSJA. It's so rare to find someone from a different city because we're just so proud of our PSJA family. And it's fine if someone's not a product of PSJA, but I feel like everybody's just so proud to come back and just so welcoming. I really love that it's just one big family, and even if you're not from High itself, you could be from Southwest, from North, and you still get that same treatment, that same love of just PSJA proud, PSJA family, and I really love that. I wouldn't say all of us here have been, products, and we all started at the elementary level to the high school level, and I just think we stayed because, you just feel that sense of love, that energy, and that unity of, being PSJA proud.
Right. There's a lot of traditions here, y'all, that we carry on very strongly. There's a lot of purpose, and I want to use that word as much as possible because as educators, that's what we need to find every morning and find every year when we start our new school years is the purpose of the year. So it's not just so much about creating the impacts and making sure that we go the distance in competitions. It's making sure that the purpose of what you are doing is to fulfill the hearts, the minds, and make memories that are going to be everlasting.
Yes. Bringing up tradition, what is your favorite PSJA tradition or bear tradition?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I told you all I was senior class president, right? Back in the day, right? And one of my favorite times was our pep rallies because we used to get so crazy and so wild. And I remember the custodians used to not like us too much because we would find all these types of confetti and just throw it up in the air when it was allowed. I don't know. We do confetti,
yes,
right? Okay.
A lot of them.
But we had a lot of fun planning it, friends and I, teachers and I. coming together for these pep rallies, creating the themes, creating that energy, and this walking into the gym and just everybody's roaring and you could just feel the floor kind of moving, and I had the opportunity to be on that mic as MC back then as a senior class, and my goodness, we just had a great time. And of course, everyone's like, "We're the freshmen," and it's like, and we're the sophomores, juniors, and then when the senior class goes up, man, it was just so energetic. It was fireworks everywhere. So that was one of my favorite traditions, was those pep rallies and all the festivities that happened during homecoming week.
I can agree with you. I really do love football season. I think football season is really what gets me through that first semester. And I want to say my favorite theme from like a pep rally has to be the glow in the dark.
Yeah.
I feel no matter what, if it's a bad day, rainy day, that glow in the dark pep rally is going to bring up the energy so much. Like no matter what. Like I think it's one of the coolest concepts. And then you see how each like department gets to like interpret that glow in the dark. Like I know the barrettes, they have these scrunchies in their hair that light up. The cheerleaders have the glow in the dark, like, you know, little shirts. And then like the band, they have things on their drums. Like it's just so different, and I love it. And I love seeing how each class gets to decorate their own section and interprets like the spirit stick, who's gonna win. And I'm so proud this year that as a senior we really blew it out the park.
Yes.
I know you mentioned you were senior class president, but not only that, drama class president.
Yeah.
So how do those leadership positions like teach you these new lessons that you're able to build on students?
I mean, very thankful for the opportunity, of course, for my teachers to entrust me with that position, and my student body, of course, because they voted for that. But I guess now it's nice to have that look back kind of feel, to understand what I felt like as a student. So now that we can kind of connect more with our students now, how our seniors work, our juniors, and how the time constraints and the workload it takes for these students to get things done. So it's making sure that they have that time to get what they need to get done. It's that time management of understanding, yes, I was there. What did that feel like as a student? But how can we improve it and make it better for them, right?
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I love I love seeing people who lead, and I love seeing coaches and directors who really, if they could do it as a student, they can do it as a director, and they kind of interpret that philosophy and imply it, and I really love it. And my question is, I know you're head director and you were once a student, that's a great thing. When was there like a moment in time where you're like, this is what I want to do, I want to direct and continue this passion?
You know, a lot of the inspiration came from, you know, even my younger years in middle school and even in elementary. As I told you all, my parents were product of PSJA. My mother was my teacher, my first teacher as a pre-K. So that was my first role of looking up to somebody in leadership. And then in middle school, I had the great privilege of working with Mr. Rodrigo Hernandez, who is now the principal at Santos Livas. And he led us to two global appearances for Destination Imagination. And that's where that embeddedness of improv and theater kind of really started. And then also my middle school theater teacher, she threw me into a competition. She's like, "You're going to do this." I'm like, "What am I doing?" But remember how I told you girls, it's all about trying and just seeing if you're going to enjoy this, you know. In high school, when I came in here, my head director was Ms. Ofelia Peña, who's now our assistant principal for fine arts. And it was really just seeing how much she gave me that confidence to want to continue to do this, you know, how much she trusted me to ensure that, hey, you know, this is probably something that you can do later. And of course, went to college, went to UT, and during my 4 years there, I didn't know necessarily what direction I was going to go, and I think that happens a lot for a lot of college students until, you know, I got a phone call asking if I wanted to come back, and I was like, my goodness, I kind of see things as everything happens for a reason. So I was like, let me go ahead and take this opportunity and come back and give to my community. And it was a rightful choice. And I'm so happy to be here after 14 years. Mm-hmm.
I love that. And I love that philosophy that you say that everything happens for a reason. Last time when you were telling us about how you went to state and you went to UT, I just think that's so beautiful that you're able to go to college there. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like a hidden, like, little invisible string. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like it was a really beautiful full circle moment. And going to college, what would you tell students from, like, down here, and what advice would you give them on going to higher education out of the city?
I encourage it 100%, y'all. You learn so much about yourself during that time. I know that nowadays you all have the wonderful privilege of getting your associates before you go to a university, so you already have those 2 years down. But in case that you don't, right, those 4 years really expand the mind, and maturity-wise as well, responsibility-wise. But you learn so much more in-depthly about yourself. And sometimes we often don't take that time to step back and really realize, what type of experience am I going to get from leaving the valley, right? And if we stay in the valley, so be it. We make the most of it, and it's beautiful down here as well. There's endless opportunities. But if you have the opportunity to go. Do not be fearful of student loans. Do not be fearful of mileage. If there's a way and a will, you can get there. It's all about being confident in yourself, and of course having the support and love from your family and friends. And if we don't even have our family and friends to support us, then we need to support ourselves and make sure that we can get our dreams and aspirations done.
Wow, that's great
Throughout that
advice.
shift going from PSJA to UT Austin, I know you also got your master's in UTRGV, right?
Yes.
Was there ever a sudden moment where it like held you back, or like that you had the mindset like, oh, maybe this is not what I want to do?
As I told you all, I grew up a bear the whole time. I grew up through the world of education, my mom as my greatest leader, and I knew that my purpose had to be somewhere in a school environment. So going back for my master's was just a big check mark for me, saying this is my continued purpose. This is why I'm here. So I was very thankful to be able to given that opportunity to go back to school to learn how to be a better leader, how to delegate things for a brighter future, right?
Yeah, I totally agree, because I feel like education is one of the greatest privileges we're given as a society, and I'm so grateful that PSJA does allow us to get the associate's degree. And my next question is, you guys in theater, you have like the busiest season ever. Can you explain to me what a theater season looks like? I know you guys have children's show, then you have your main show, and then the one act, and then you have UIL. Like, I remember when I was in cheer, we would practice, and we would practice since the summer. But from my understanding, you guys go as you go, like it's just running.
Yes. So just to kind of walk you guys through a theater season as we start the school year, we typically announce our season the following semester in the May, June time. And so our students are excited. We're able to market that and get students riled up to want to come to auditions. So we set up our season that way. We host auditions the first week of school. We get students ready to go with their calendars, saying, hey, these are the practices. I hope you can make it. I know it sounds a little strenuous, but we work fast. So we do a children's show, musical production. And this year with PSJ Bears Theater, the way that the directors want to move with this is that 1 year we're going to be doing a musical production and a straight play production. And the straight play production is just no music, no dancing. It is purely acting. But this year we challenged ourselves to do 2 musicals, right? So doing that was quite the challenge, right? So we started off in August. We had our show November 10th of Seussical. The next day, literally, we had auditions for Little Shop of Horrors. So we had to keep on moving with that. Aside from our musical productions, we're also heavily involved in UIL. And UIL Theater, there are UIL Tech Design, there's UIL Film. UIL Film is broken into 4 different categories, which is narrative, documentary, in which we still have one of our semifinalists here, documentary. We have Ms. Jacklyn and Addison. We're very proud of them. Hopefully we'll be able to know their results soon. But we're very excited because we've never had a documentary go this far in the competition. So great job, girls, on that achievement. Where was I at? Okay, so narrative, documentary, traditional animation, and digital animation. And UIL Tech Designs is also broken up into 4 different categories, which is hair and makeup, costume, marketing, and set design, and of course group. So all of that is happening throughout the year as we are doing these productions, as we are building our giant sets, because we like to have a big imagination. And then after those productions are done and after those competitions are submitted, we start with UIL One Act Play, which is a whole nother football season for us. And just to kind of break down that competition, our students only have 7 minutes to set up an entire set. You have 40 minutes to perform and 7 minutes to strike down. So they are very, very serious when it comes to timing, y'all. I have been in competitions before where sadly a show will go over 3 seconds or 13 seconds and they are disqualified. So it is so important that our students not only know the show like the back of their hand, but are time efficient and time effective. And there's no way us directors can do anything. So that's why everything is on the trust of the students and how well we prepare them for these competitions. Because when that competition starts, all the directors can do is come around, sit in the audience, and watch the show and pray, right? But we are confident in our students and their talent. We make sure that they are ultra prepared, so if anything does happen, they know how to do, a shutdown where they bring down the lights, or the stage manager's ready to go, going, let's go, let's move. So aside from UIL One Act Play, then we do our junior varsity, which is only for freshmen and sophomores to compete in. And it's not technically in the UIL realm, but it's called a theatrical festival in which we compete with all of the other high schools within our district, which is pretty cool because, since we're in a division of 6A and 5A, we don't always get to compete with the other PSJ high schools. So when we see our JV come together, then we can really see, wow, this is the talent and this is where it's going from. And then we do Rising Stars Theater in the summer, which is a 2-week super camp. It's a super quick camp for our incoming middle school students. And then we also have Tri-City Theater, which our high school students participate in the summer camp. Yeah.
Wow, that's a different type of world.
And I know I'm missing some stuff out too. We still have the Palm Awards too.
Oh, yes,
so the Palm Awards, it's a great showcase here for the RGV. Great opportunity for the kids. I wish all this would existed back in the day, but to be given the opportunity to be presented like the Oscars and for them to, or the Tonys, and for them to just go on stage to be accepted and, to win something that is so memorable for them is just wow. Wow.
Throughout this moment of chaos, like we said, we did the musical and then it was back to back to the Little Shop of Horrors. You saw the department come together and build these productions.
It was so good.
You saw different organizations, whether it's from art students. The art department did help us a lot. You saw some of our actors as techs, some of our techs as actors, but throughout these moments, you really did see a big family making this imagination come to life, this creation of magic. And you as a director, how do you feel personally, like, watching your students get the recognition?
We love it 100%. This is not just coming from me. This is from all directors and the leaders of our department as well. The more that our students can achieve, the excellence that they can get is really just a reflection of everyone's hard work put together. So again, this is a community effort. This is a team effort. It's not just one person in the department making it all this happen. This is a collective of so much talent. And as you said, that how well we collaborate with others, and we enjoy that so much, and we honor it and we encourage it. So it's not just our art department, so it's also our dance department with their barrettes coming in, doing dance moves that I could never do, right? But they're on stage making it look beautiful and seamlessly. But we are just so thankful for the continuation of this department to grow. And we also have our media coming in as well to highlight those and also participate in UIL film. So we encourage all of our Bear family and our community to consistently come on by to the theater to get your hands in the magic.
I love that. And I love how theater is just such a big world. Like, it's grown. I feel like it's grown since you were there. And I know when you were there as a student, you went to state. Can you tell us how that was?
It was an incredible experience, y'all, for UIL One Act Play. And back in the day, we were still 5A division. A 6A division did not exist. So imagine how that divide between 6A and 5A combined all together, all those schools were just considered 5A. To get to that level was just superior. I was like, my goodness, y'all, we are the top 8 in the state of Texas, representing Little San Juan with a big heart, and in big, beautiful Austin, Texas. But that experience was just wonderful. And again, like I said, our head director was Miss Ofelia Peña, and we went with the show with Over the River and Through the Woods. And it was a small cast of 6, and we maybe had a crew of 10 to 12 students participating, but the immaculance, walking into Bass Concert Hall there at UT, and I told you all how big this theater was, right? Biggest theater I think I've ever stepped on my whole entire life, and just to have that opportunity to do that 7-minute setup, and it felt like a football field running back and forth. And Miss Penny was like, let's just go, guys, come on, we can do this. So we were going back and forth just to get that set going. But then being able to take that moment to breathe just a bit and then take that light. And as I told you ladies, what it feels like to be on that stage, you see nothing but pitch blackness. But when you hear the audience reaction, it's just a roar, right? And you just have to keep on going. But that's an experience that I'll never, ever forget. And I hope and I pray that our department gets that same experience.
Yes, and I know you guys did do that play last year for one act. How was it like? What was the difference from performing it to directing it?
Oh, big difference on that one, a big difference. And we have to give so much credit to Ms. Soto, who took so much time with our students in breaking down all of the characters and and the blocking, and then Mr. Nunez with the set construction, and the rest of our students who came in with their ideas. And that's what we love so much, is to continue encourage our students to participate in the design elements, in the directing components that it is, because yes, as directors, we are your directors, but it does not mean that we're not going to intake what we can do as a team, because together that will make us stronger. So I guess seeing the difference between being a student in the production and then being a director, it's night and day, I would say. Yes, so much nostalgia came back with the show, but the amount of tech and the amount of technology and the amount of passion and heart that was put into this production, was very strong, because we had that root to begin with. Yes.
I think throughout those moments you found a lot of creativity, but is there a balance between being creative and being an educator?
I would say so, yes. I'm not sure. I don't know. Okay, because I feel like you have to be creative to be an educator, right? So, and every day we battle with like a different type of era of student, right? And also age difference. I used to be in the middle school where high energy and loudness all the time, but in high school you have to motivate them in a different way. You have to get them excited. You have to show them your passion. You have to show them that heart, so they get just as enthusiastic to do the project with you. So I would say creativity and education come hand in hand together.
Yeah, that's great. And I know you taught at the middle school and the high school, and that is such a different playing field. I was not who I was in middle school now. Like, that's such a big difference. And there are some kids who would want to act in middle school, but then high school they're like, that's not me. And then some kids who would never act in middle school come to high school and they're like, I want to try this out. What would you tell to a student who's like, oh, I kind of want to act, but I'm not sure, like?
And we deal with this every single day. The directors and I, sometimes we have a student who'll be like, man, I really want to try acting, but I don't know if I want to do it, And we had this conversation prior where it's just about trying, right? It's making that student feel comfortable that even if it's not your time right now, who's to say maybe next month, next week, next year, you're ready to go and you're ready to shine. And again, it's all about taking that initial step and saying, maybe this can be something that I enjoy doing, but we'll never know if we keep hiding in the shadow. So we always tell our kid, find your light, find your spot, and make it happen.
Yes, because I honestly feel like in high school, like, it's just such a different playing field, because you have so many different like drama and different like things to go through. And I love that theater just allows you can be a barrette, you can be a reporter like Addison, and you can be just a actor, and you're able to go and perform. And I love that big family, and I love how it's grown to where almost everybody and anybody can do it, but not in a way that, oh, it's so easy, anybody can do it. It takes a lot. It takes guts. I've gone to watch a couple shows, and it's just so crazy seeing my friends who I'm laughing and giggling with turn into different people and turn into someone I don't recognize. And it's just crazy. Like, I love it. And I think, coming off a little bit, I think a big piece of advice I would give, like, to our viewers is, if you're in high school, just do it. You never know. I feel like Addison and I can agree, we would not be here if we didn't just do it and just try it. I don't know if you have your own story, but I remember when I started doing BNN, I was a cheerleader, and I loved cheer, and I loved everything about it, but then I saw everybody reporting, I saw, like, the football fields, and I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. And I love that theater gives you that, try. And if it's what you love to do it. And if you don't, that's fine. Yeah. And I love theater so much. And I love watching the plays. My role in theater is I'm a viewer. I love watching.
I think without the department, you can play many roles. Like we said, we have our actors coming as technicians. Some of our technicians that we didn't even know sometimes can sing or sometimes can dance, sometimes create these amazing productions to come in as actors. But not only do we have high schoolers, sometimes we have our middle schoolers join us. So have you seen familiar faces from places you have, like Kennedy?
Yes, actually we have some students that came from Kennedy into the Bear family too. I won't say I have anything to do with that, not at all. But I know that I think they either moved by or came by closer, and they just really enjoyed what was happening in the theater. And we love that we're bridging that gap between middle school and high school and allowing our middle school students to participate. But it's also just starting a training ground for them too. I mean, imagine having that opportunity as a 6th grader, a 7th grader, 8th grader, being able to perform in a high school production and being able to perform for children's show daytime performances. That's a big impact, seeing the audience filled with about 500 screaming elementary students waiting for you to perform. It really does something for them. So we are so thankful to have the help and support from Austin Middle School and Raul Seguida, from Miss Leia Gonzalez and Mr. Alvaro Moreno. And we just want to continue that that partnership and that connection, so that theater is embedded in such a younger age for these students, and they're ready to go. They're ready for that main role maybe when they come in as a freshman. So yeah, we really enjoy having our middle school students participate.
I love that. I love seeing the little babies. It's just so cute seeing that, like, from an early age, they're like, you know what, like, I love theater and I love this is what I want to do. And I love seeing kids, like, be so passionate about something. I loved coming to watch, like, the plays. You were at Kennedy and you got Teacher of the Year. Can you go ahead and reflect what that means and, like, what it took to be there?
Yeah, I'm in Kennedy Middle School, y'all. Y'all have my heart. Thank you all. Go Razorbacks. It was an incredible learning experience being there for, I believe, 12 years of my teaching career, and it was Teacher of the Year 2020. And I was so excited, but then also we had COVID during that year, so everything kind of shut down. I was like, well, okay. But it wasn't about the ceremonies, or it wasn't about the awards. It wasn't about any type of pictures or anything like that. It was really just making sure that how proud I was to be selected as for my campus, right, to represent that campus. Like I said, they taught me so much. I had so many colleagues there, so many assistant principals and principals that really led me to who I am today. So I am thankful for that, and humbled by it as well. And it wasn't just an award won by one person. It was, won by everybody around me. So thank you.
You balance different roles. You were a director at a middle school. You're now a director here. You MC certain events. How do you keep, like, a balance between all these roles?
Oh, that's a good question. I ask myself the same thing every morning. Lots of coffee. No. As I told you all, ladies, PSJ Bears and the Bear family, and just PSJ in general, has been embedded in my life for a very, very long time. So to be given these roles, it's just to honor them and respect them as much as I can, because I know and I hope that whoever is watching, or they see what we are doing, as a whole, that they feel inspired to want to come back and do the same. So a lot of it, again, I'll go back to the word, is purpose, and this was my purpose.
I love that. It's so cute. And I love that, and because many people, I feel, have a mindset of, like, I'm going to be the best at this, I'm going to do this, but I feel like the best type of coaches and directors are people that are like, I need somebody to continue this. Like, I don't want to be that peak and then after me there's nobody. And I think it's so beautiful to have that person and have someone be your mentor and teach you, like, the steps that you want to know. And I just think that's beautiful.
I know throughout the shows, there's a big audience. And within the audience, and this might be a little sensitive, there's a spot saved for someone.
Yes.
Mr. Johnny Trejales. Yes. I know he was not only an influential person in Southwest, but here for a short amount of time. Was there a lesson that he taught you how to build yourself as a person?
Yes, I mean, and I told you ladies, when I first met Johnny Joe, we go all the way back from college as well. Even high school, we would compete against each other in prose and poetry. And to be able to work by him, he just taught me so much about confidence within and confidence within those that you entrust to have the same passion and heart that you believe in. But what Mr. Trill taught me was, if you can see it, then you can make it happen, right? To not let boundaries of rules and certain restrictions stop you from imagining and creating magic, So that is one thing that I took from him and all of his wonderful work that he would do, and everyone knows in this state and in this nation that when one of his shows began, you knew that that was a Johnny Joe show. You knew that that was a Mr. Trill-led show because of what he brought to the table, what he brought to the stage was just incredible, right? So being able to work next to him for so many years, it was just a privilege to see his magic and experience happen and how well he impacted these students. And I think that's another thing that I took so much from him is how he connected with his students. It wasn't just an in-classroom type of connection. This went far beyond than that. And you'll have his students even come back to this day, just saying the impact that he created, May he rest in power, may he rest in peace, but my goodness, was he an incredible, incredible man. Yeah.
I love that. I love that we're able to honor him and able to, you're able to continue his legacy. And I know you said that you feel that you can't amount to it, and you feel like, not in that way, but like you just feel like not taking his place. And I think that's so beautiful that you still continue the lessons and you continue what he taught you. When I went to the Susico, I saw the plaque and I saw the little remembrance for him, and I thought it was so beautiful and so gorgeous and heartfelt to have on the stage. I think it's just so amazing to honor him.
Yes, and we continue to, and I know that the legacy continues all over at Southwest as well, because I know that was with his prominent home, but he did so much more than just within PSJA. He impacted an entire realm of theater folk. So we're very, very happy for him. Yeah.
I know you had said that one of the things he embodied was there was no lesson. There was no, there was no boundary.
Right.
There was nothing to break. And I mean, if there's something holding you back, just do it. Do you feel like there is a show that you're like, I need to do this show? Is there a certain show that you're like, this is going to get done?
There's plenty of productions that we've had in mind, but it's also just changing the perspective of that production. For example, when we did Over the River and Through the Woods last year, we all know that this is the show that has been redone and redone and done over and over again. And us directors, as we talked, we're like, my goodness, are you sure that this is going to be the show? Because it's been done so many times. How are we going to revitalize it? How are we going to make it seem like no one else has ever seen this before? And it was taking that inspiration from Mr. Johnny Joe of making it your own, embodying it your own, breaking down those boundaries of making it fresh again. How can we do that? So, and I think our kids did an incredible job, and we'll say it till this day that they should have been at state last year. Yeah.
So has there been like a rewarding moment you've experienced like of making it your own?
Most definitely, and like I said, I don't like to use the pronouns I and me and that, because I always say that everything that I am here today has been collaborative. This is all because I have asked for help, because I have asked for others to come on in, and we continue to do that. So if anything has been rewarding, it's just seeing how well we've been able to collaborate and create a community. So that is rewarding for me, is to see how well we can get others to participate that would have never participated before, to get those who would say, I can't do this, but then here they are leading the roles, for the following productions. So reward is within collaboration.
That's a great answer. I love it. And I know that, like, is there anything, like, in your career, like a small moment, a large moment, what is your favorite memory from drama? I know it's so hard to ask. I know it's so hard to pinpoint. But even it's like the smallest thing.
From my high school experience or from now?
I would say we can do both.
Okay, high school experience, I think my favorite, not only was it, being able to go to state, but man, it was just having the ability to go somewhere where you felt so comfortable, having the ability to call a place like a stage your home. The directors around you, the castmates, the crew members, all of that was my favorite part. And of course, my mom would be like, you're never home. I'm like, I know, I'm never home. We used to live out of a suitcase, but that was very memorable for me. It wasn't just one moment, it was just the experience in itself, was to be able to have a place other than home, and still call it home. Yeah, and I would say the same thing that would apply till now. We work here quite often. I mean, we don't really usually go home, but yeah, it's being able to have our students come in and stick to us like Velcro, because they just enjoy the experience just as much.
Did you start your theater journey at high school, or like I know sometimes in middle school it starts?
Yeah, so actually my very first production ever, guys, this was in elementary, but it was with a church performance, and I remember I played a Bethlehem kid, and it was awesome. I did have my first role was the role of Benjamin, and I took it very serious, right, because nobody else wanted to audition. But no, theater prominently started for me in middle school, and then we carried it off in high school. High school is where it really took a wheel for me. It really impacted me, and once again, very thankful for Miss Pena and her direction and making sure that I was heavily involved and not just in theater but in speech competitions as well.
Speaking of different competitions, I know there's UIL. There's so many things to do. I'm going to go ahead and ask Addison about doing your UIL direction. Can you tell us a little bit more? Because I feel like those things like happen within the theater world, and I feel like people who are in theater know about it. But as someone who's not, like, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
For doing documentary?
Yes.
I didn't really know that it existed, if I'm going to be honest. I did not. I know these other things like prose, poetry. I used to compete growing, like, in middle school. But when it came into documentary, this is something that, like, BNN is still something new to me. I remember Miss Soto asking me and Giselle to say we can do her the favor of doing it because we worked with, like, interviews and stuff like that. But it was such like a beautiful experience to do. Not only did we get to learn a little bit more about cameras, you got to see this background of different stories that the students were able to bring, how like theater has impacted a person, how theater has changed it, how theater was just magic to them. And I think it's supposed to be something I would really like to continue to.
Yeah, we would love to have you to continue that as well.
And good luck on your state. And I say good luck in UIL as well. It's a different type of beast, it's a different type of thing. And I know as a teacher, what is one message or one thing you really want to emphasize and leave on your students?
And as we talked about different competitions and all these other things, Gal, it's not necessarily about the win. It's not about the trophy. It's how it impacted you. So we leave today with just making sure that our students know that if they know that they did their very best and they gave their heart and they gave their dedication to this, then they already made the memory of a lifetime. So, yeah.
I love that. I think it's great knowing that, like, it's about what you learn and it's about what you take and how you change as a person. I mean, winning is always great. It's always great to get that recognition, but it's just so great knowing and learning. I'd say, like, from BNN, like, I feel like Addison and I have learned how to talk and how to ask people and ask, like, different questions and kind of, like, pick people's brains. And we're very grateful to have had you again. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we apologize again.
No problem. Thank you.
And we're so grateful to learn and dive into the deep world of theater. And I'm so excited to see what you guys have for in the future.
Yes, we hope you guys to see you there in the audience. We hope you continue with documentary, and we hope we get more students and viewers out there. If you all are interested, please stop by the theater. We're always here to welcome you all, for you all to try something new.
And go Bears!
Go Bears!
We're back with the talk that you don't wanna miss. Posted podcast is back in the mix. Voices of the Bears, we're leading the news. Season 4 live, we got stories and views. From the halls to the mic, we bringing up the heat. BNN is knocking with a brand new beat. Bears News Network, let the whole school know. Posted podcast is back, let's go, let's go!